All right. So, the first example I want to do is 20a to the 7th over negative 4a to the negative 4. So I always say the first thing to do is get rid of parentheses, but in this case, we don't have any parentheses. So that's handy. So again, the key to doing this work is just breaking it down into different parts. So we are going to do a part with our coefficients and a part with our variables, right? That's how we break it down. So over here, I'm going to handle 20 over negative 4. Now, we can think of this as reducing a fraction, but also some of you might recognize that 20 divided by negative 4 actually comes out to a whole number. So if we want to do it the long way, 20 factors are 1, 20, it's in 0, it's an even number, so it divides by 2. It is a number that ends in 0, so it divides by 5, and that's 5 times 4. And then 4, of course, is 1, 4, or 2 times 2. So the biggest number that divides into both is 4. $20 divided by 4 is 5, which, is the long way because that's what this is in the first place, 20 divided by 4. And negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. So 5 over negative 1 is just negative 5, right? So in our final answer here, I've got negative 5 over 1, or you could do 5 over negative 1. It really doesn't matter if you want to be consistent. And then we've got a to the 7th over a to the negative 4. Now, some people might be thinking, oh, I need to do something with this negative. But the cool thing is, if you apply our subtraction rule, right, that you do top exponent minus bottom exponent, kind of takes care of itself. So a to the 7th over a to the negative 4. By our rule, it should be top exponent minus bottom exponent. So now I've got this 7 minus negative 4. And we all know what happens when you do minus and negative. It turns positive. So what I end up with is a to the 7 plus 4, which is just a to the positive 11. So I'm going to put that up, up here. So even though we had a negative down here, since it was already in the denominator, then when I subtracted it, everything turned positive. So we end up with no negative to move down into the denominator. But we can simplify this just because this 1 really doesn't need to be here. 5 divided by negative 1, as I said, is negative 5. That means we don't have anything in the denominator. And we can just make our final answer be this nice non-fractional thing, which I think is pretty cool. Are there any questions about any part of this? I simplified the coefficients. 20 over negative 4 is negative 5. I applied our rule number 3, the division rule, to our a's, and then I smashed it all together into our final answer. All right. Okay. Let's see. Now I'm going to do another one. negative 5 z to the negative 1 over 3 okay, that's weird. Sorry. Okay. Cool. Over 3z to the negative 4. Sorry, I was looking ahead at my other examples and realized I'd written one or circled one wrong. Okay, so negative 5z to the negative 1 over 3z to the negative 4. So again, we're going to handle our coefficients, and we're going to handle our variables separately. Negative 5 over 3. So negative 5, if we want to find factors of 5, that's prime, so that's 1 and 5. 3 is also prime, so 1 and 3. So just like that other one, what was it? I think it was 2 and 5. The only common factor they have is 1, which means it can't be reduced. So my final answer should still have negative 5 and 3 in it. Meanwhile, I got my z's here. Is everyone cool with that? That negative 5 over 3 can't be reduced, unlike the 20 over negative 4? All right, so meanwhile, I got my z's here. Z to the negative 1 over z to the negative 4. And again, before you start worrying about applying your negative, let's see what happens when we apply our division rule. All right. Okay. So you have double negative here, minus minus. So we can turn that into a big plus sign. So negative 1 plus 4. Now, if you don't know that, think of the number line. Whoa. 0, negative 1, negative 2. Obviously, these are not perfectly evenly spaced. So you start at negative 1, and then you add 4. That means you're going this direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That puts you at 3. It's like 4 minus 1. So z to the third power, z cubed. So that goes on top. Boom. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. Okay, one more. Bear with me, my friends. Why is there negative 5 on the first one? You mean right here? Because 20 divided by negative 4, when we simplified our coefficients, 20 divided by negative 4 is negative 5. So that simplified to negative 5, or 5 over negative 1, or negative 5 over 1, doesn't matter. So this, whoops, choose white. 5 over negative 1 simplifies to just negative 5. It doesn't really matter whether you say 5 over negative 1 or negative 5 over 1. Same thing, the negative can go anywhere. Sometimes people just put it out front and it applies to the whole thing, right? So yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So one last one. Let's see. This one I'll put some parentheses in. All right, -2w cubed squared divided by 10w to the -2. So again, we want to deal with parentheses first. So first thing I'm going to do is handle this numerator. So we distribute this power, right? We end up with -2 squared and w cubed squared. Okay. So now we can talk about what that is. So -2 squared is -2 times -2. Negative times a negative is a positive, so +4. Then w cubed squared, that's applying our power to a power, which says that we multiply the exponents. So w to the 3 times 2, which is w to the 6th. And on the bottom, it doesn't have parentheses, so we're just going to keep it like that. All right. Now that we've done that, we need to deal with our division. So that involves simplifying the coefficients. So I've got 4/10, and I can figure out factors of 4, 1 and 4, and 2 and 2, 10, 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. So obviously, the greatest number that has a factor of both is 2. Four divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that means whatever this comes out to be, the 4/10 gets reduced to 2/5. Okay. Everybody cool with that? Any questions on that? All right. If there are no questions, then we move to the W's. So again, division means we subtract. So 6 minus -2. And you know the drill now. Double minus turns into a plus. So this is w to the 8th power. I'm going to center my 5 here. And that is the answer. Any questions about any of this? All right.